The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630, the sports capital.
This is Orioles preview. Birds playing Game 3 of their 4-game series in Toronto tonight. Coverage here on ESPN 630 starts at 6:30 tonight. And as we do every week on Orioles preview, we have somebody on from the organization. And today it's Brendan Fournie, who is the Director of Baseball Strategy. Good morning. Are you in Toronto today?
I'm not. I'm in the warehouse.
In the warehouse, yeah, slaving away at the computer. The title Director of Baseball Strategy, I heard you in another interview describe it as similar to the role that Jonah Hill played in Moneyball. Have you ever met Jonah Hill?
I have not, no. But that's right. It's pretty similar. It's the simplest way to describe it. There's an economics component. There's an advanced scouting component, but simply what he does in the movie is very similar to what I do for the Orioles.
Brendan, you're on a speakerphone by any chance?
I'm on a headset.
Okay. Can we call you back because we're not really. This is not going to be productive. It's very difficult to understand you. So, or can you get to the handset without the headset? Is that possible?
Yes. Yeah. 1 second.
Okay. Let's see if we can get that hooked up and.
How's this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I assume you spend a lot of time on the phone, and it probably this saves you cricks in your neck and things like that with the headset, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah. This is a much better sound. The background. Baseball people generally, I say generally, maybe it's changing now, but generally have a background in either playing or working behind the scenes with the team. From your background, It sounds like you were always going to go in this direction, right? You're not like a guy who tried to get through the minor leagues to play and went to this. This was always your focus,
right,
to be in analytics?
Yeah, that's the case. I played as often, as much as I could growing up, and, I was able to play varsity high school ball for what it's worth. But during that experience, I quickly realized that this was probably not the most likely future for me. But I really enjoyed the game. And when I went to college, it was, this is what I wanted to do, and decided to study or just tailor my studies towards this. And out of school, took internships and just tried to progress through this as best as I could. And from that, the kind of the analytics part came more natural to me. It's where I spent my focus on. And a lot of my experience coming through has been to learn as much from the coaches, player development people, the scouts, just so I can kind of improve that skill set a bit more.
I'm the same age as Mike Wilbon, and who spends a lot of time just railing against the analytics people. He doesn't like the jobs that you guys do. I'm a little bit more neutral on that. But, I mean, what do you say to older people who grew up with the game and, think of the scout sitting in the stands with his stopwatch, and trying to find players that way versus the way that talent is procured now? I mean, should it be as scary as it seems to be to the older people?
No, I don't think so at all. And I'm obviously biased in this regard, but I don't view it as a scout versus analytics competitive nature. We're all trying to learn and describe the same thing. And I think in a lot of ways, the analytics is kind of coming full circle back to what the scouts, the baseball folks were originally saying. And I spend a lot of my time talking with them, learning their perspective, just so we can kind of build their perspective into our models, into our evaluations. So I think the scouts and the baseball opinions have obviously a lot to offer, and we consider that in everything that we do.
Yeah. Do you, because this was part of Moneyball, we don't necessarily have to see him play. You still do that, right?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, there's a lot more video now, so it's a little bit easier to kind of see players remotely, but I'm sitting behind home plate, fortunately, for every game that we have at Camden Yards, and get to see everyone, in first person, and there's a lot of value in seeing everything up close still.
Do you get a player where you look at the numbers and you say, oh, wow, this is a can't-miss prospect, and then see him play and something you see changes your mind? Does that happen from time to time?
Yeah, I think, one thing we keep in mind, we spend a lot of attention towards is staying humble and understanding there's uncertainty with every player out there, even the top prospects of the world. But I think one thing the analytics is really trying to convert to or spend more time on is, how the player is performing. There are circumstances that players perform and somewhat get lucky with batted ball luck, things of that nature. But given the quality of contact on the bat or the quality of the pitches being thrown, there are better ways to measure that. But also just the makeup of the player, that the player could be performing well in a lower stress environment. How is that player going to perform in a higher stress environment? So there are definitely different things that we cross-check before we make, our final evaluations on players in that regard.
Talking to Brendan Fournie, who is the director of baseball strategy for the Orioles, dealing mainly in analytics. The way the game has changed with starting pitchers, I mean, that was unusual last night to see a starter in Corbin Burnes go 7. These days, hardly anybody goes 7. What do you look for now, and are there things that have changed dramatically in the way that you scout pitching?
I think first and foremost, you have stuff to get major league batters out, and then also second point, do you have command? Stuff without command is somewhat not helpful if you're just going to walk every batter that you face. So it's a combination of the two. And then also the length, part of the Corbin Burnes acquisition is to get us through 6 and 7 innings every night that he's going to pitch and save the bullpen, and that, compounds into future games. So, all of the above is always being considered when targeting these starting pitchers.
Mm-hmm. And I would think, as they continue to tweak the rules, we got to look at all the injuries that are across the pitching landscape these days and wonder, will baseball make an adjustment, and do we get to the point where now it seems like you get a pitcher and you tell him to throw as hard as he can for as long as he can. Will we get to the point where it's going to be more like, pitching, more like, if you don't throw 100 miles an hour all the time, it's okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. And be frank with you, I don't have a crystal ball for what the future holds for the role of the starting pitcher.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that hitting has gotten so good that pitchers are somewhat forced to throw with higher velocity or higher effort, which may lead to some of these, injuries. And I'll caveat this or disclaim that I'm not a doctor or medical professional, so I'm not the most targeted person to ask in this regard, but I know MLB is exploring all alternatives to kind of increase or keep the role of the starting pitcher, and that's top of mind. That's good for entertainment. That's good for the league. And I know there are definitely folks working to explore that. Yeah.
And the emphasis on power, I guess it's here to stay. And the fact that the game moves along quicker now, and it's not, wait, home run. It's a better game. But is the guy who can still, hit 300, is he as valuable now as he used to be?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think having high contact, especially in situational hitting, is still being valued. You have runners on second and third, 1 out, especially with the 10th inning nowadays, having a runner on second, just getting that run in, having a high power guy versus a high contact guy, the role is different. And it's kind of like bringing you start off the game with your driver on playing golf, but once you're on the green, maybe a putter is more important. So having high contacts is certainly valued, especially with the 10th inning change.
And you're still, though, you batted leadoff last night, Gunnar Henderson, right? Yeah, he's your leading home run hitter. I've talked about this, the value of having the extra at bat. I guess the analytics tell you that it's better than, his first at bat, maybe having a runner or two on base, right?
Of course, and we have a lot of good hitters on the team. Gunnar might be the best of them currently, or one of the best. And having Gunnar get an extra at bat over 162 games, or whichever games he doesn't rest for, that adds up over time, and just increasing the quantity of his plate appearances, is only to the club's benefit. So he's a great leadoff hitter for us in that regard, and he's having a fantastic season.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he's hitting 268. Used to be you wouldn't put your leadoff hitter like that, but nowadays, yeah, the analytics tell you that it makes sense. It's tough for the older guys like us to get our heads around it, but the fact is you got a ball club that's really good, won 100 games last year, is on pace to do it again. So whatever you're doing right now, you can't say it's not working, right?
Right. I'll tell you what, I've worked for and with, Mike and Sig for many years now, going back to Houston, and these guys really know how to scout, and they deserve all the credit. It makes folks like me look better than we are, and makes our jobs rather easy when they're drafting all-star players in the first 2 rounds every year. Yeah,
no question about it. Well, it's been very exciting the last couple of years. Keep up the good work, and I imagine that there are some we've seen. Jackson Holiday, I'm sure we'll get another shot, but your farm system looks pretty well stocked now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a bright time to head in Birdland, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you. Continued success. We'll catch up soon.
All right, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's Brendan Fournie, who is the director of baseball strategy. And, I think if you've seen Moneyball, this is, and Moneyball's like 15 years old, I think, right? Something like that. Yeah, I think it came out quite a while ago. But that's modern baseball. And, if you introduce yourself to people and say, I work for a baseball team, I'm what Jonah Hill did in Moneyball, people will understand that. All right, some react to last night. Birds on a roll. They've scored 17 runs in the last 2 games. They go for a 3-0 start in this series tonight. Coverage here at 6:30. We'll hear from Brandon Hyde, Connor Norby, who had his first major league hit last night, a home run, and Corbin Burns, who had another gem on the mound. Stay with us. It's Orioles Preview, Andy Pollin Show, ESPN 630.
The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630, the sports capital.
This is Orioles Preview. Orioles Game 3 against the Blue Jays tonight. Our coverage here begins at 6:30. I'm just looking at the schedule and when they play the Yankees because this looks like this is going to be a battle kind of similar to what happened last year with Tampa. Now, Tampa's not playing as well this year as they did last year. They're a game under 500, but the Yankees are off to a start like Tampa was last year, and Tampa did cool off. I don't know if the Yankees will with the way Juan Soto is hitting and Aaron Judge. They're just tearing it up. They're 43-19, which ties them for the best record in baseball with the Phillies. But the Orioles are 39-20, and they're playing great baseball. They've scored 17 runs in this series so far against the Blue Jays, winning last night 10-1. And this is Brandon Hyde, who, what do you say about a game like this? You get a pair of homers from Ryan Mountcastle. He drives in 5, and they get tremendous pitching performance, pitching performance from Corbin Burns, which was great and saves the bullpen. He went 7 innings. He gave up 4 hits, only 1 earned run, only struck out 1. Interesting, but lowered his ERA. Struck out 5, lowered his ERA to 2.26. This is Brandon Hyde on what he saw sitting in the dugout.
Let's start with Corbin Burns. Give up 1 run. They're only in the 7th inning there. Just in total command. Incredible stuff. He's throwing 98-99-mile sinkers and on those right-handers. Great cutter. Just was a fantastic performance going 7 innings for us. And then offensively, it's these kind of days when it's a bullpen or opener, that kind of thing, it's you kind of never know what's going to happen. And, Richards, we had problems with Richards early. Then, fortunately, we got to their bullpen and had a bunch of great swings and a lot of timely hitting and some big home runs. So, total complete game from us.
Yeah, Mountcastle, the pair of homers, driving in 5. As you look at this lineup, look at the first 3 hitters. You got Gunnar Henderson. He's got 19 home runs. He's hitting .268. Adley Rutschman, who plays every game, whether DH or catching. He DH'd last night. He's hitting .305. He had 2 more hits. Mountcastle with the big night. He's hitting .286, all of them double digits in home runs. This is, right now, an embarrassment of riches for Hyde.
Well, good teams, it's not going to be 2 or 3 guys a night. It's going to be certain, it's going to change on a nightly basis because we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of guys that can do some things. And we have a nice, pass the baton approach. Get the next guy up, grind out at bats. You never know who's going to be the guy that gets a big hit. And, I really like our approach right now. I think we're getting on balls in the middle part of the plate. I thought we took a ton of great swings tonight. And we hit a ton of balls hard last night. We were kind of unlucky. And then tonight, a lot of those balls fell.
Adding to the barrage was Connor Norby, an unusual name, but Connor Norby called up this week, played second base last night, and his first major league hit was a home run. Here's Hyde.
No doubt, yeah. It's a little anxious, of course, and how can you not be? And I think it was a slider he got, or an off-speed pitch there that put a great swing on it. So that was fun to watch him, and congratulations to him. That's a really cool moment to have your first hit be a homer.
And he got to appear on the post-game show on Masson, discussing what he did in his getting his first major league hit, which was the homer.
because Kyle Stowers, his first hit in the major leagues was a double, that you probably wanted to do a little bit better, and you did? What did it feel like, that first hit being a home run?
I mean, it's everything you can dream of and more. These past 2 days have been just out of this world. There aren't enough words, I don't think, to describe it, but never trying to one-up Stowie. I love that dude, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, I think he just got you. That's a little payback.
Hey, congrats, man. That's awesome. Great memory to have. Have you watched a home run longer than you've watched that one before? Because it's your first one, and it was a good one to get a glimpse of. What's going through your mind right now?
I mean, not a lot of anything right now. It was so cool to experience that, and I mean, help his team win. And I didn't stare too hard at it. I didn't know if I had a shot, but I said I turned my head pretty quickly, so if they would have thrown me out at second, for all I know, I really didn't see it go over.
What has it been like the second day in the major leagues? I mean, yesterday I'm sure was such a whirlwind for you, but what is it like to come back that second day and kind of feel like, all right, I know my surroundings now?
Yeah, I think during BP, I didn't have as many butterflies as I thought, as I did yesterday. So I thought today would be a little bit better, and I'd feel a little bit more settled in. Like I said before, yesterday I thought my last at bat, I felt a little bit more comfortable, and I was trying to build off that today. And didn't have some good results early on, but I just kept sticking with it, and I put a good swing on a ball.
You had a great night. Ryan Malka had a great night, but I'm interested from your perspective out at second base. What was it like watching a major league ace, Corbin Burnes, up close, and what he did to Toronto tonight?
He's unbelievable, right? He's the best pitcher in the AL, might be the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. It's a lot of fun playing behind him. And when I got the lineup card last night for today, I was like, geez, I get to play behind this guy today in front of a big league crowd and big league stadium in my second game. So that's going in the memory books for sure.
Well, Connor, I think the Blue Jays bullpen retrieved your home run ball, that first major league hit. Go get it, and congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, guys.
That's nice of the Blue Jays. They could have said, I don't know where the ball went, but they found it and gave it to him. First major league hit, home run. The numbers for Burnes: he's made 13 starts, 6-2, 2.26 ERA. He's money, and he went 7 last night. And listen, as he talked to reporters here, he thinks he can take his performance to another level.
They were super aggressive pretty early on, so had to adjust a little bit and make sure we were making good pitches early on to get some quick outs. And then when we got to 2, same kind of thing we faced them last time. They were just really protecting with 2 strikes, trying to put the ball in play. So we started to get creative and do some things we didn't normally do, and it worked and kind of turned things back in our favor. A lot of weak outs, a couple punch outs, and helped get the pitch count down after a long second one.
You set up the same lineup you faced a couple weeks ago. I mean, does that make it easier or harder for you as you're game planning?
Yes, there was 3 new guys in there tonight, so actually, and 3 guys that I'd never faced before. So felt the same but different, I guess. But yeah, it's a team. In division, you face teams a lot, so you kind of got to get creative, and you know what they're trying to do at the plate. They know what you do on the mound. So sometimes you kind of have to outsmart them a little bit and make adjustments, and we were able to do that tonight.
You're on a roll here with quality starts, 8 in a row. Just how comfortable have you felt over the stretch? Do you feel like you're pitching as well as you ever have?
Yeah, I'm just trying to go out there and stick to my game plan, stick to my routine, 5 days in between, just do whatever I can to be best prepared when I get on the mound. And when I'm out there, just trying to execute as many pitches as I can. And so far this year, we've done that. Misses have been in good spots, except for the pitch Springer there. We've been able to kind of minimize some damage and get some quick outs. And the swing and miss stuff, it's there, just not the right time yet. So we know punch outs to tick up, but the main thing is we're executing pitches and doing our job of helping the team win.
So are you suggesting you think there's another level that you can still get to this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I always think that there's ways to improve. Whether it's location, whether it's sequencing, that's kind of stuff we're digging into. And we did some stuff tonight that I think are going to open some doors, for the kind of the rest of the year. But I always think there's things to work on, and same goes for what we've done the last stretch where we've been throwing the ball well. I think there's still a lot of room to improve.
the support, especially with what Mountcastle was able to do tonight?
Again, not going to complain. Frees you up a little bit, get up there, and I'm always trying to throw first pitch strikes and get ahead, and just allows you to get to strike two that much quicker when you got that kind of lead.
Yeah, pitching with a lead. Very nice. So Burns now 6-2, 2.26 ERA. You got to think he's the leader right now for the Cy Young in the American League. A lot of baseball left to play. They throw Albert Suarez tonight. He has appeared in 12 games, made 5 starts, but he has been terrific as well. 2-0 with a 1.57 ERA. And the Orioles, again, trying to keep pace with the Yankees. I'm looking at the schedule. They play the Blue Jays tonight, then they close out the series with a 1 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon. They go to the Rays, to Tampa for 3 games. They come home against the Braves for a few games. Then you got the Orioles playing the Phillies in mid-June in a couple of weeks here. And that was the World Series in 1983. It's not inconceivable that could happen again. But I think the big thing that you're looking at here is when they play this 3-game series in New York from Tuesday, June 18th through Thursday, June 20th, because this was about the time last year where they won, I think, 2 out of 3 in Tampa, and really, they were still looking for their confidence at that point. They had been a good team at the end of 2022. They were realizing they could be a great team in 2023. So that's a huge series looming. So some really good teams coming up. You play the Phillies and the Yankees over the next few weeks, and they are the 2 best teams in baseball. But you just look at the top of the lineup and where they're producing, and Gunnar Henderson, who's got to be in the running now for the MVP after winning the Rookie of the Year last year with 19 home runs. He's batting .268. He's driven in 42. Rutschman, they're kind of like the Mandolin Maris of this team, where Rutschman is playing every single game. Henderson has played in 59 games. Rutschman has played in 56, so he's only missed a few, despite the toll that catching takes on him. He's almost always in the lineup as a DH when he's not catching. And Ryan Mountcastle, who had struggled with injuries and looks healthy this year. He's played in 54 games, hitting .286 with 10 home runs and 29 runs batted in. So you're getting plenty of support there at the top of the lineup. You're getting contributions from guys who are coming and going. Norby, let's see if he sticks at second base, as they've been trying to answer that question. They probably will trade for a closer at the deadline. You got to figure that they're going to be interested in doing that as they try and make the next step this year. But all seems good in Birdland, and they play game 3 of the series tonight. I want to thank Brendan Fournie, the Director of Baseball Strategy for the Orioles, for coming on today. Thanks to Rex Minturn for running the show. Thanks to all of you who listen. We got a Tony show coming up next, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.